Good evening. Welcome, welcome. Let me see if I can share. It looks like this is streaming from my business page. Let me see if I can. There we go. I can share. It looks like this is streaming from my business page. Let me see if I can. There we go. I can share. It looks like this is streaming from my business page. Let me see if I can. There we go. Share. It looks like this is streaming from my business page. All right, I did it. Welcome, welcome to day 7 of the 8-part Temple Talk series on the 8 pillars of the Mystic Priestess path. Excited to be back here with you tonight. It's just started to rain again up here in the mountains, continuing to purge and cleanse what needs to be let go of. So allow the beautiful clarity of the healing rain to permeate your cells this evening. And if you're not someone that goes out in the rain regularly, I highly recommend it. Obviously, to be safe with wind and lightning. Right now, it's just a beautiful, gentle rain. It feels so amazing to be out in the rain. It's not something we do much in our culture. Highly recommend. So welcome, welcome. Tonight, we are talking about meeting our destinies. Very exciting stuff. So I hope you've been enjoying this 8-part series. If you're not part of my Temple group page, hop over there to catch the full series and the follow-up conversations that are happening there as well. It's all in preparation, building the excitement for my 9-month immersive initiatory process that's starting next week. Beautiful group of women that's coming together for that. And I'm having our preparatory sessions, and so a lot of exciting energy around giving this sacred yes. Hello, Julie and Leslie. Welcome, welcome. And Tracy, hello. Let us know you're here with a little heart, making sure you can hear me fine. If you let me know, Leslie, that you can hear me fine like you did last night, that's awesome. When the rain comes, sometimes we have a little bit of sparkles, disconnect with the Wi-Fi. So welcome. So I'd love to hear what you're getting out of this series tonight. Anything you'd like to share? Hi, Julie. Welcome. Okay, great. Thank you. I'm excited to come see your place, by the way. I'd love to hear what goodness you're getting out of this series. I've been getting lots of great private feedback, which you're welcome to keep that flowing, because it really helps me to know what's landing, what didn't quite make sense, what's coming clear because of the conversation. And tonight, this piece around destiny, it's really a big one. You know, destiny is like, oh, the reason I came to the planet at this time, and it can feel really big and pretty scary, which is why when it came through to me, like that feeling of, yeah, I feel afraid, and there's like a sense of fear because it is so big and it's bigger than me. And as you've heard me talk throughout this series, and why I believe so much in tribe and circles of women coming together around this conversation, as we heal the sacred feminine principle within ourselves, to trust the inner guidance we're receiving and to take action on it. And so this piece tonight around destiny, I'm going to go ahead and share the pillar as it came through to me. I'm actually going to shift the wording a little bit on it for this program this time, because each year I teach this, I'm informed more about the deeper underlying layers of what these pillars are all about. So even though I can sometimes feel afraid, I accept that I have a mission here on the planet in this lifetime, and I commit to fulfilling my destiny. I'm a mystic priestess of the divine, and I walk in service to my highest purpose. So many pieces around this. So one piece that's coming through first to discuss around destiny is, I believe if we're women that feel the call to fulfill something big for our lives, like there's this yearning and desire to play bigger, to be out there, to be creating, to be engaged and heart open, having loving relationships, doing work that really resonates with us deeply, that's connected to, I believe, this deeper purpose that's calling out. And we're still in free will. So even though that destiny is there, we have to choose it. And it's in the conscious choosing that all of the perfect resources, circumstances, and people that are meant to be part of that destiny being fulfilled start to align. And so it shows up in synchronicities and coincidences that are people that just notice a post of like, yeah, I'm having this inspired idea about, I don't know, maybe creating a healing space in the woods somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where it is. Maybe it's North Carolina. I'm not sure. Maybe you share that with someone. Someone overhears it at a, a casual gathering, or you post it through social media, and they say, I actually have this place that's not being used. It hasn't in years, that my family owns. It would be perfect for something like that. Maybe we should talk. Because you never know what resources and circumstances are out there waiting for you to give your yes. And so we tend to make it so hard, and we tend to think that we've got to have all the moving parts in place before we step out. And this path of awakening, specifically around this priestess archetype, is about, we say yes and step before we see necessary anything sometimes, before the net's even there. We hear that like, jump and the net will appear, and it's scary as hell to the ego, because the ego wants to know. The ego wants to have it figured out. Whereas the feminine, this feminine aspect, this feminine essence that lives within us, trusts that everything aligns exactly as it's supposed to, whereas this linear, logical, masculine ego side of us wants to see the path already laid out. And so I'd be curious, Julie, your story around the place that you found up in the mountains. Look forward to connecting with you around that, because I sense there might have been some magic involved there. So anytime that we have this inspired idea of action that we want to take, we don't always know the reasons why. And sometimes it is, oh, I'm going to call up that person I know from 2 decades ago. Now I remember them saying, oh yeah, they have a place in the mountains. I wonder if they might be interested in someone coming to lead there. Or it could be a big move, like they want a caretaker for their property, and they would love to have someone that has a good heart and soul and a drive and desire to do good in the world to come be a caretaker of land. So we don't have to own the land. We don't have to be the ones that figure it all out. In fact, we're not supposed to. We leave the how up to the divine source of all creation. Call it God, goddess, whatever works for you. So we just know what it is that's beating in our hearts to be realized in the world, and we feel the inspiration, we feel the excitement and joy. It's on the edge of fear. It's a very fine line between excitement and fear that dances between stepping into this, because it is so big. It is bigger than us, and this is a vision that's meant to come through into the world for the world. And so we can't possibly know all the reasons why. We're not supposed to. That's where faith and trust comes into play. So this work is around healing all the parts of us that don't believe it's possible, that we could actually have a destiny and that we could actually live it on top of that. And so that's what this work is. That's what shadow work is in this context, is healing all those parts of us that don't believe it's true or possible. Because there's definitely parts of us in that conversation that are like, well, who am I? I'm just one person, and how much impact can I have? Hello, Martin Luther King, Gandhi, Mother Teresa, Michelle Obama, Oprah, these powerful people that are walking the planet right now that are one person, that have this fortitude within them that knows they're here for a reason, that there is work to be done on the planet, and they're ready. Even if you don't know what it looks like, even if you're feeling afraid, you're ready. And so that's where you give your sacred yes, and all of the mystery and magic unfolds in divine right timing to support it coming through. And so that's a huge piece around this destiny calling out. And as I was meditating on this today for the talk tonight, the image I was given was our destiny is like a lighthouse on the shore, and we're the ship out at sea trying to find it. And there's a lot of fog in between us and our destinies. That fog is the shadow work right there. That's the conversation that happens within all of us, that we're not good enough. Who am I? I can't really have impact. It's too big. I don't have the resources. I've got kids, I've got a husband, I've got business, whatever it is that holds us back from stepping into it. And so all that fog in between is healing that conversation. And we start to, and the other piece of the image that came to me is, you know how a lighthouse will cycle a light out and it circles around. So there's a little bit of blackness, and then the light comes back and we see another shimmer of it. So I liken this to us awakening to this deeper conversation within ourselves and learning how to trust it. So when that light comes through, it's like a signal out to the cosmos, connecting with our higher selves, and we're like, oh, that's it. Oh yeah, that inspired book I wanted to read that'll lead me to the person that has the land that wants to be a part of this vision. Or it comes through like, oh, that's that healer I really wanted to learn more about. Like there's something about what she offers, that she or he offers, that I know is right for me. I'm going to call them now. That's your next step. And then there's that little bit of shadow until the light comes back, and it's the next sign and signal that sends out saying, oh yeah, and there's that other thing I wanted to try. I'm going to explore that path too. So we trust the signs and signals as they're sent out from the shore, and we learn to take action on them. And when we take that action, we see the positive results that come from that. So we learn to trust it more. And so another big piece of this process is learning discernment. How do we know to trust the sign and signal? What if this isn't like the fear part of me, or the part of me that's running from the old pattern? It's part of the process. We have to take a step. We see the results. We tune in. Was this the right step? Yes or no? Okay, adjust, try a different path. That's where the work comes into play. And I think that so many people have divine guidance that they're not following because you're not trusting it. This is a path of rebuilding trust in magic and miracles again, because it exists in all things all the time. And we knew this as children before we put on our adultness and the wounding that we carry, the imprints from our family and society, all of that we must peel back and heal to really step into this clearly. And there's a decisive moment that I remember saying yes for me. It's a pretty amazing story. I was on the island of Hawaii and the Hawaiian Islands. It's the northernmost island 10 years ago when I launched my business. And I gave my sacred yes. I knew I was giving my yes to this divine force that was wanting to move through me. And it sent me through a powerful and, at the time, difficult conversation with my husband, because we were in partnership together, doing work together. And the coach we were working with at the time, it was really helping us to identify what our deepest gifts were and how to form them into a business. She said, I remember that decisive time on a coaching call, and she said, I feel like there's something that's wanting to come through you, Marcella, that you're not giving voice to. And it sent this whole reverberation throughout my body, and I knew it to be true. And I was so afraid of it at the same time, because it meant I would need to separate from the work I've been doing with my husband and stand so strongly in what I knew I uniquely, individually was supposed to bring through. And so we had the conversation that I think anytime we must, with our partners, our beloveds, our children, our workmates, there's a time we must have these difficult conversations that are necessary for stepping into this work, because who we will be on the other side of this is not who we are right now. And so new friendships will be formed, new agreements in relationship, new ways of being must be birthed, because the destiny that's calling you forth is calling you out to be your best self. And so the victim conversation doesn't have a place to play anymore, because there's no one outside of us to blame for what we are creating. And so self-responsibility is a huge component of this path. So that's where we must do the work around forgiveness, relationship, shadow pieces, that in this 9-month process actually happens pretty quickly, because we dive into that first. And so couple months into this and coming into the new year, it's a really rich time to go through this process of Thanksgiving and Christmas, when so many people are tagged with family stuff. Women are starting to identify very quickly who they want to be in the world and what they're wanting more of. And so we go back into Thanksgiving and Christmas, for example, and we're like, woo, there's that pattern I've been playing out my whole life that I've been playing out with my family. And it's really good to see that, because that's so much juicy information for us to work with through the 9-month process. And so that's why I love starting in the fall and cresting over through all the holidays and New Year into the spring, this rich time of celebration, because it's a necessary piece. And so the other component I wanted to bring forth around this destiny piece tonight, and what the pillar says here, walking in service to our highest purpose. What I found through living my destiny, what I believe is my destiny at this time, and I know it will shift and change and continuing to move forward as I believe it does as we grow and mature and learn. It does call us out to be our highest self, and I want to speak a little bit more about that. What does that mean? So it requires we take very good care of ourselves. It requires we keep our relationships in check. It requires that we eat nourishing foods for our body temple, because as we activate and awaken this destiny within us, it starts to shift. Our DNA literally starts to shift. And if you've been with me in any workshops before, but sometimes we'll share the story, and I definitely do through the 9-month process, that one of the women I was initiated under years ago in my first process shared that this sacred knowledge is reawakening within our DNA now, because the time has come for us as women to take responsibility for what's happening on the planet and to align ourselves with the vision that we have for what we want to see unfolding on the planet at this time, which calls us out to be our highest and best self. So again, the healing around the relationships, the conversation around victim into empowerment, because the amazing thing is when we activate this piece within us and all that cleansing and healing that gets to occur because of that, we become our best self. We become the highest version of who we are in the world, that takes impeccable care of ourselves, that has loving relationships, that eats nourishing food, that's welcoming in abundant supply of finances and envisioning the world we desire to see. And for me, I've always known that I had a heart of philanthropy. I wanted to be one of those women that had my finances handled enough that I could write out a big fatty check to any cause that I believed in, that I know that was doing good in the world. That's another thing with activating our divine resources and healing our own wounding around the feminine, which is the component of receiving, because then we can do so much good with it. And studies actually show that women are spending 80% of the household income. And so we're already doing it. So what are we putting our money into that is powerful life force to align with our bigger vision of what we want to see in the world? And there are women creating businesses and nonprofits and organizations left and right. There are more women-owned businesses than we've ever seen. It's a very exciting time to be alive and to be a female at this time. And so I feel that what women learn through this immersive 9-month process is all the skills and tool set to activate and awaken that deeper destiny, and to be able to have the skill set moving forward to navigate this roller coaster feminine wave ride of living our deeper purpose in the world. So for tonight's assignment, I would love for you to vision, journal, meditate, dream on what is that deeper destiny that's calling out to me at this time, and what action can I take towards it this week? So ask yourself that question and see. It could be simple, it could be complicated. Feel free to share it here or share it to me in a private message. I'd love to hear. And stay tuned for tomorrow night is our last Temple Talk series, ending on Temple Tuesday. Was that perfect or what? Where I'll be ending with the last pillar of the path. It's been wonderful to be here with you tonight. And if you're on my business page, come catch the whole series on my Temple of the Mystic Priestess page. You'll need to join that group to come be with us and catch the whole series. So love and blessings. Hello, Michelle. Thank you all for being here tonight. And I look forward to more tomorrow evening. Ta-ta for now.